All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy holidays, season's greetings, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, of course. Today is Merry Christmas to all of you across the world here in Las Vegas. And I can't find a better thing to do than spend it all with you on the holidays, of course. Why wouldn't I with the C1 family? We did Thanksgiving. We're doing Christmas as well today. Detroit versus Minnesota. Going to kick off in about 10 minutes. Snoop Dogg is doing a halftime show, if you can believe it, during this football game. And of course, Snoop Dogg lives in Las Vegas, so we got a couple Las Vegas connections as well. All throughout the broadcast today, we're going to be talking about things to do in Las Vegas on Christmas. We'll be breaking down all the other NFL stuff. Today, the Lions are in a must-win. They need a lot of help to get into the playoffs, but if they beat Minnesota today, with Max Broomser, the Vikings quarterback, as the backup on the other side, at least they keep their playoff hopes alive, at least for a little bit longer. They really need the Packers to lose against the Ravens on Saturday, though. But, had the Lions beat the Steelers on Sunday, they'd be in a much different situation right now. But again, not much, unfortunately, in today's Christmas Day games, not much playoff implications on the line. Merry Christmas, Tom. Thank you for joining me as always. I'm so grateful that you're here for this. Lions lose today. They are done with the playoff potential. So they got to win today. But disappointing. Cowboys and Commanders, no playoff implications, obviously. Broncos do have playoff implications tonight. If they lose to the Chiefs, that will screw up their playoff seeding, but that's basically it. We have got the Lions trying to hold on to their playoff hopes, whatever's left of them, and we've got the Broncos worrying about playoff seeding. So here in Las Vegas today, we're going to do Lions, Vikings. We're going to talk about a lot of other fun stuff in between as well because it is Christmas. So we will talk about the upcoming week in the NFL as well. There's so many good games. All I want for Christmas is the Carolina Panthers to win the NFC South. We know that already. But the reality of what it comes down to is as far as NFL stuff goes, as far as playoff hopes go. But yeah, Vikings are, kind of finishing the season strong a little bit. Wins over the Commanders and Cowboys. Reality is that they've played a little bit better over the last couple of weeks. So wins over the Giants as well. The three teams in the NFC East who aren't going to the playoffs, go figure that. But so we shall see what happens, So we'll see what happens. I hope for the sake of everything, I hope that we get a good game today. We get a watchable game today because we need it. We need watchable football today on Christmas. It's, disappointing. Injuries happen, things happen, but the reality comes down to is we need watchable football. Over on the main channel as well, check out our end of the year luxury watch discussion with Archie Luxury, past C100. Because very fun stuff talking about luxury watches, inflation, currency debasement, all kinds of good stuff. So go over and watch that also. Great discussion, fun stuff to end the year. And also Lane Fobbs and me have our college football playoff round 2 predictions up. So please watch that as well. Great discussion. We were at a holiday show last night. The Rat Pack is back, who's been in Vegas for a long time. We're going to do a video package on that. I'll post probably tomorrow. Got a bunch of other stuff coming up. We're going to be here Sunday, of course, also. I may be here Saturday for the Texans Chargers. We just got to keep checking the schedule. But again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays from Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. Yeah, Tom, did you get anything fun for the holidays? Did you get any Buffalo Bills t-shirts or hats? Or do we have enough of those already? Well, guess what? You're going to get something in April from me. You're probably about that. So don't worry. Happy holidays, sir. You know, the holidays have changed since we were younger. The holidays have just changed. So the holidays have changed. What did I get today? Audience members. That's what I want. I want audience members. Audience members, Tom. Audience members. Thank you for being here. Though, and thanks as always to everybody. I'm so grateful for all of you this year who have watched a second, a minute, hours of our things, have logged into our lives. We had so much watch time on last week's NFL Sunday Live after it aired. Thank you to everybody who's watching those. Again, whether you're in the pre-recorded or you're in the live, if you're in the recorded or you're in the live, I thank you so much for that. We're going to talk today about things to do in Las Vegas on Christmas, because I think everybody just kind of does their own thing here. So we're also going to talk about that today also throughout the broadcast. So yeah, that's for sure. So, and historically, we used to only get NBA games on Christmas. Unfortunately, there's no college football. There's no college football. Excuse me. There's no college basketball today, which I thought was kind of interesting. I went to look at that, and I'm like, wow, there's no college basketball today, which was kind of surprising to me. So playoff picture is the following. They really need the Packers to lose. They really need the Packers to lose. If the Packers lose to the Ravens on Saturday, Lions are looking better. It's as simple as that. Lions will look better if that happens. Yeah, I think that's true. But the reality is that we used to have college basketball versus the NBA, and I always used to watch mostly the college basketball. There always would be these fun tournaments for me that are, I think, like Orlando, for example, usually. Orlando, I think at the ESPN zone out there, they used to have those, so yeah. But kind of disappointing, no college basketball. I would absolutely be tuning in to college basketball if there was unwatchable football, or I have to tell you, I follow the NBA, but I don't usually watch much until the playoffs. So yeah, don't watch much until the playoffs. So so that's basically what that is. But the reality of what it comes down to at the end of the day is that the fact that there's even NFL on Christmas Day, to me, is just kind of crazy. That's my whole point. It's not the norm. I'm glad that we have it now. But it used to be like one of these situations where maybe you had one game, like in the last 10 or 15 years, maybe there was one game on Christmas, but now there's like a triple header of games on Christmas, which is so crazy. So, Christian XC1 review covering Las Vegas and the world. We're in pregame right now. Minnesota and Detroit will kick off shortly. Again, thank you for spending some of your Christmas holiday with us today. We greatly appreciate it. Again, what else? Again, there's NFL, Thanksgiving. We had such a great crowd for the Thanksgiving game from Detroit and Green Bay. So I'm grateful that we have an audience again today for Christmas Day, for Christmas football. And I was just like, yeah, let's do this. So we're here. Things to do on Christmas in Las Vegas. Go to a restaurant, at a hotel, get the Christmas experience. All the hotels have very beautiful Christmas trees and things like that. So Instagram moment. That's one, right? Can go to Red Rock Canyon, go to the great outdoors, there's shows. A lot of the Las Vegas shows are performing today. A lot of the Las Vegas resorts, of course, have movie theaters, like the Palms and Palace Station and the Orleans, for example. There's lots of things to do today. Watch the NFL games at a Las Vegas resort, you know. But reality, what it comes down to is that looking forward to that, Tom. This Sunday is going to be a huge one, my friend. This is a big Sunday coming up. Absolutely big Sunday. You know, Carolina and Seattle. I look forward to watching Carolina and Seattle. I do think that Carolina can hang with Seattle. They beat the Rams already this year. We know that. I really am looking forward to watching Carolina and Seattle on Sunday. That will be an interesting one for sure. You know, so disappointed the Lions did not beat the Steelers last week. They well should have. I was disappointed by that. Would have made this game a little bit more mathematically interesting, but we got what we got. So at least we've got something to cheer for. But NFC North Division has been really fun to watch this year. I can't believe the Chicago Bears are going to win that division. I mean, that is incredible to me. That is just incredible looking at that. I would have never guessed that. If we get Chicago and Seattle in the finals of the NFC Championship, I mean, that would be unbelievable to me. And checkmark Seattle. There's no way Chicago is winning at Seattle. I'll get on the Tom bandwagon with that one. That's for sure. I will get on the Tom bandwagon and say, yep, I agree with you. If Chicago has to go play at Seattle, there's no way I would take Chicago in a million years to go to the Super Bowl. No way. It's just not happening. It's not happening one bit. It's not happening one bit. Not one bit, not one bit, not one bit, not one bit at all. So, Christian XT1 review, the most exciting city in the world, Las Vegas. Merry Christmas, season's greetings, Happy New Year to all of you today. Happy Hanukkah, of course. Happy Kwanzaa, happy Boxing Day, and happy whatever you celebrate. Well, we're sitting here reviewing earlier. Dallas beats Washington 30-23. Again, meaningless football on Christmas Day. Dallas, I just have to tell you again, lost the Chargers last week. Again, they beat the Commanders today. Very injured, of course. But again, where was that Dallas all year? Where was that? Winning meaningless football games when they don't matter. Dallas is just better than some of the worst teams in the NFL this year. That's my conclusion. They can beat up on some of the worst teams in the NFL this year, but they are not any better than any of those teams, but they're not better than any of those teams above them. So again, Dallas, just so many missed opportunities over the last decade. Could be a playoff team, all that good stuff. But missed again. They do beat the Commanders today 30-23, but one game left for the Cowboys, and then off to the offseason. America's team will not be in the playoffs again this year. So all right, we're at midfield finally for the coin toss. Interesting enough, Detroit's wearing their home unis today on the road. Minnesota is wearing their away jerseys at home. The Minnesota Vikings helmets today, Tom. I would love to know your input on those when you see them. I would love to know your input on those Minnesota Vikings helmets. I would love to know your input on those Minnesota Vikings helmets. They are different. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but they are absolutely different. They are absolutely, absolutely, absolutely different. So, absolutely different. And we always talk about division road games are incredibly tough. They're incredibly difficult. So again, this is not a guaranteed win for the Lions, even if you do not have JJ McCarthy this week, double J in there. So we'll see how the backup in Minnesota is able to deal with it today, and handle the success. We shall see. Um, Again, Minnesota's been a little bit more motivated the last couple of weeks, but they did beat the 3 NFC East teams. So they they did beat the 3 worst teams in the NFC East who are not going in the playoffs, but the Vikings have played better the last 3 weeks. So why I think that the game can be close and competitive today, and we'll see. Detroit is going to kick off first to Minnesota, so Minnesota is going to get the ball first here today. And the ball has been kicked off, and we are underway in the second NFL Christmas Day game, Minnesota and Detroit. Let's see what the Vikings can do today with a backup quarterback on the field. Max Broomser. Is that how you say it? Max Broomser? Let's see how he can do today. There's an injury on the first play of the game, and that's not good for the Minnesota Vikings. Really a shame when that kind of stuff happens. I remember years ago, this is back in the 90s, when the Bills played the Chiefs at home in a regular season game and someone got injured on the first play of the game. I remember that. And I couldn't believe it. Got really badly hurt on the first play of the game. I think the Bills won that game. That was the Marv Levy era. I think the Bills won that game literally 44-17, if memory serves me right. And I believe that's when Joe Montana was with the Kansas City Chiefs. That's how long ago it was. But I'll never forget, it was in Buffalo, and there was literally an injury on the first play of the game. And we're going to take a commercial break already. Injury for the Minnesota Vikings, unfortunately. No score, 4 seconds into the game on the CY Interview Las Vegas YouTube network. But we're going to talk other NFL today as well while the game's going on. Talk Las Vegas. Some Las Vegas stuff, of course, always. We are, of course, live from Las Vegas. And I want to thank also all of the new subscribers and the new followers and the new people who have joined the lives over the last couple of months. We've got a bunch of new NFL fans from all across the United States of America who are now following along on these videos, and I appreciate your support as well. It's greatly appreciated. So let's take a look while we're sitting here. I want to take a look at something. So focusing on the week again, Saturday we got. Yes. 1 second. Sorry about that. Let's go back again. 1 second. So Saturday we have, again, Texans Chargers. To me, what's going to be a great game. If you ever wanted a game to watch on Saturday, playoff implications huge for the AFC wild card, Texans and Chargers. How could you not watch that game? Phenomenal game. That'll be on the NFL Network. Peacock has the Ravens and Packers. So we got a Peacock to watch that, I believe. Then we're going to go to Sunday, of course. And again, to me, the highlight of Sunday are a couple of games. Colts, Jaguars. See if Philip Rivers has got anything left, because their playoff hopes are still mathematically alive. They may not be alive, though, if Houston wins on Saturday. Yeah. So, but we'll see. Okay, we're back. Lions, first play from scrimmage, incomplete pass. Excuse me, Vikings, first play from scrimmage, incomplete pass. My apologies. Trying to get Justin Jefferson the ball there. Did not work. 2nd and 10 for the Matt Rusmer Minnesota Vikings today, led. If I'm Minnesota, I want a short game. I want to keep the clock moving. I want to move the football 10 yards at a time. I want to win a game kind of like the 16-13 game against the Giants last week. If I have any chance of winning today, that's my opinion. Vikings are going to run for it on 2nd down. Not very much, about 1 or 2 yards there. It's going to be 3rd and long already for the Vikings here in the first quarter. See what the Vikings can do here on 3rd down. 3rd and 9 already. Oh, and the Lions are going to sack him in the backfield. And a great start for the Detroit Lions defense, obviously. And hopefully this will not be an ugly one, because this could get ugly really fast if Jared Goff just marches down the field here quickly and puts up 7. Great start for the Detroit Lions defense. Vikings are on the field to punt. Wouldn't be a bad week to have the Detroit Lions defense potentially, I suppose, actually, the more I think about that. Lions are going to start at about the 37-yard line. 90 seconds into the game already. Let's see what Jared Goff is able to do. There's not going to be a commercial break, it looks like. Goff is just going to go. This year, Goff already has 4,000 passing yards. So congratulations to him on that. A lot of touchdown passes in Detroit, obviously. A lot of opportunities to be had. Going to be a 1st down already. Yeah, I think you make a very valid point about that, Tom. But, the thing is that these guys, a lot of these guys are attorneys or other professions. They just love this. This is like their hobby. That's what's so interesting about the NFL officiating world, is that these guys, a lot of these guys, this is a secondary job to them. They have other careers and things that go on. It's pretty incredible, honestly, to tell you the truth. Minnesota's going to sack Jared Goff there in the backfield. The Detroit Lions offensive line, not very good on that play. 3rd and long coming up here between the Lions and the Vikings. So, see what happens here on 3rd down. I guess the Vikings are in the whole white Christmas mode with these total white jerseys today. White tops, white jerseys, white pants, all that good stuff. And the Vikings are going to be able to hold 4th and 3 here from midfield. I don't think the Lions are going to go for it here. We'll see. Are the Lions going to go for it? They might actually here. See if Dan Campbell wants to be a riverboat gambler here on this one. And they are going to maybe be a riverboat. Maybe they'll try to draw them off sides, though. 4th and about 2 or 3 here for the Detroit Lions early. 4th and 3. Let's see. Will the Detroit Lions actually try to or just try to pull them off sides. We got 5 seconds here on the play clock. Let's see. I'm going to guessing they're just going to try to pull them over. Oop! There's movement. Let's see what the penalty flag is. See what the refs decide here. We got a false start on Detroit. So Detroit moved before Minnesota moved. So now Detroit will have to punt. So early defensive battle here in Minnesota today in our Christmas Day coverage of Detroit and Minnesota live from Las Vegas, the most exciting city in the world. 4th and 8, they'll be punting the football here. Have you been watching any of the NBA action today, Tom? I'm guessing you have been earlier. Touchback in the end zone. Lions will start after the break. Vikings will start after the break. Matt Broomster, can he find a way to get the Vikings moving along a little bit? Merry Christmas from Las Vegas, the most exciting city in the world. We're on a commercial break for the Lions and the Vikings. Let's go back to reviewing while we're sitting here on that commercial break. Let's go back and do a little bit of review here. Again, so moving along, Buccaneers, Giants, Buccaneers, Dolphins, excuse me. Buccaneers, Dolphins. I got ahead of myself. Again, Buccaneers look terrible the last couple of weeks. They really need to win. Miami could give them a game, though. Maybe Miami will give them a game. We'll see. It's down in Miami. And then, of course, Bills, Eagles will be a phenomenal watch game. Phenomenal watch game, Bills, Eagles. Looking forward to that. And again, battle for first place, first draft pick. Who wants it most? Giants, Raiders. And finally, of course, looking forward to two things. Well, one thing. Bears 49ers on Sunday Night Football should be phenomenally interesting. We will see how good the Bears really are. I believe that the Bears have won some incredible games at Philadelphia this year and at home against Green Bay. If they can win at San Francisco, I'll start being a little bit more of a believer. If they can win at San Francisco, I'll start being more of a believer on Sunday. So we shall see. I think it's an interesting concept, and I didn't expect the Bears to just keep. Again, the offense is not great. The defense is good. I didn't expect the Bears to keep just chucking away these victories. So that's the thing I've missed this year. And the fact is the Steelers are in the driver's seat to win the AFC North. And I really thought the Ravens were going to get that one done. And it looks like Aaron Rodgers is going to lead a team to the playoffs. So I did get that one wrong as well. So one of the things to do on Christmas Day in Las Vegas is go visit the Botanical Garden at the Bellagio Resort and Casino as well, by the way. Great holiday display with all those florals and flowers. One of the most beautiful landmark places. Right next to the Bellagio check-in desk is the Bellagio Botanical Garden. One great place to be on a holiday. Of course, again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. Season's greetings, Happy Boxing Day, happy I get off work from today. Whatever it is for you, I hope you're enjoying your celebrating today. Minnesota's going to get a little bit of a better play call there on first down. They're getting about a 3-yard gain. We're back in live action here. 10 minutes left in the first quarter. No score between Detroit and Minnesota here on Christmas Day. Minnesota, again, 3 consecutive victories against Washington, Dallas, and the Giants, looking to get a 4th in a row, cannot make the playoffs, but wanting to end the season on a high note. playing the Detroit Lions, who must win to keep their playoff hopes alive. It's going to be flag on the play there. We'll see what the call is. Got a defensive holding penalty on Detroit. So that's going to move the ball a couple things, and there you go. That's going to be an automatic first down, too, for the Minnesota Vikings. Listen, I still think that Kittle or no Kittle, Kittle is a diehard pro wrestling fan. I think 49ers can still beat the Bears, obviously, on Sunday. Have J.J. McCarthy and some of those other wide receivers land up, anything can happen. Good pass by Minnesota there. Kind of a side pass to the field. It's going to be about 2nd and 5 for the Minnesota Vikings. Christian XC1 review, the most exciting city in the world. We're spending some of our holiday with you today. We're doing live reaction to Detroit and Minnesota. Detroit trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. My main man, Tom, is here. Thank you all to everyone else who's in the room. We greatly appreciate your support. We'll be here until the end of this one. And at the half is Snoop Dogg, if you can believe it. Snoop Dogg is this game's halftime show. It feels like Snoop Dogg's been everywhere over the last couple of years. He lives in Las Vegas, though. First down for the Minnesota Vikings. That's a good run there to keep this moving along. Again, if I'm the Minnesota Vikings, I truly want to shorten this game. I do not want a long game here. I want to shorten this game because I know that my offense is not as good as Detroit's. I want to be able to shorten this game and try to get that run game going. I really do want to get that run game going, so. Minnesota's at their own 42-yard line here on a 1st and 10. Good pass by Matt Boomser. 2nd and 1 coming up. I got to give the Minnesota Vikings fans credit. Seems like it's almost a sellout game there. Looks pretty full. They're not making the playoffs, but they're there rooting for their team today on the holiday. So got to give them credit for that. 2nd and 1 coming up for the Vikings in midfield here. Justin Jefferson has 2 catches so far for 14 yards. Justin Jefferson, of course, the main Minnesota Vikings wide receiver. Got an early timeout on the field. 2nd and 1. 7:47 left in the first quarter. No score between Detroit and Minnesota here on Christmas Day on the C1 Review Las Vegas YouTube network. Put that in the chat, by the way. Looks like they're not going to take a commercial break for this one. I guess they're going to take a 30-second break here. Okay, we're back. 2nd and 1 for the Vikings. They're going to run the ball like I expected they would, and they're going to be tackled in the backfield. Detroit defense was absolutely ready there to meet the Minnesota running game there. We got probably like a 3rd and 3 upcoming. This will not be an easy 3rd and 3. If I'm Minnesota, obviously I'm going to be punting the football here to play field position. 3rd and 1, actually. I still feel like he lost a couple of yards there. But okay, 3rd and 1 coming up for Minnesota here. He can run with that. He can run with that, and he's going to get the first down and then some. Matt Brusmer with the run for the first down, going to get it inside about the 35-yard line. First down. That's a way to get out of a situation. You only need 1 yard, and I'm like, yeah, if he angles that on a run, he'll get there for that first down. Minnesota moving the football. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, season's greetings, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Boxing Day, Happy whatever you celebrate. Christianic C1 interview in Las Vegas, the most exciting city in the world. We're doing NFL Live reaction today, Minnesota, Detroit. We're always here for the NFL. Even on Christmas Day, we're here. Thank you so much for ongoing viewership, as always. Inside the 32-yard line. Minnesota's in field goal range. Pretty quick first quarter here. We've already got 9 minutes gone. So to everybody in Las Vegas who's watching this game at all the resorts, Vikings fans, I'm sure there's some in town. Lions fans, I'm sure there's some in town. A lot of people from the Midwest live in Las Vegas. They moved here over the years, obviously, over the last, couple decades, if not more. So a lot of people from the Midwest now live here who've relocated over the years. I'm sure there's some Lions and Vikings fans watching the game at various Las Vegas resorts today, sports books and the such. Again, we used to only get the NBA and some college basketball on Christmas Day, and now we're getting the NFL. We are a very privileged sports nation now that we get the NFL. Second and third and 10 coming up for the Vikings here after 2 unknown plays. Let's see what happens here. I want to get a couple more yards if I'm the Vikings. I'd like to run up the middle so I can get into field goal range. But Broomster's going to not do that. He's going to get sacked in the backfield. And missed points there for the Minnesota Vikings. Detroit Lions come up with the sack. And so that's going to be 4th down. So the Vikings are going to be punting. Looks like this could be an absolute game of field position here. But would have been better just to throw it away. Excuse me. It would have been better to throw it away. There is a flag on the play, though. What is the flag? There might have been a defensive penalty. Nope, 4th down. No foul on the play. It is a good defensive battle so far. I agree with you. Could be 1st to 10 wins this one the way it's going. But again, if I'm Minnesota, if I'm Minnesota, I am disappointed there because I could have at least got 3 points. We missed, and points are not going to be many today. If this keeps going the way it does, I'm disappointed if I'm Minnesota on that drive. I should have, you would have better off running the ball 3 times last time. Instead, you're punting the football now from midfield. Punt is up in the air. Let's see where we are. Detroit's inside the 10. They're going to be tackled at the 8-yard line. See if we bring out nope, we're going on a commercial break. Merry Christmas from Las Vegas. Timeout. Detroit 0, Minnesota 0 on the C1 Interview Las Vegas Network. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Merry Christmas again. Season's greetings. Happy New Year's from Las Vegas, the most exciting city in the world. We are coming back from a commercial break in a second. Lions have the ball at like their own 8 or 9 yard line. So we'll see how that goes. Merry Christmas from Las Vegas, the most exciting city in the world. Lions have the ball here at their 8 yard line. Going to run it up the middle there, get about 3 or 4 yards. 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Detroit's second down. They're going to get a first down there. They're going to run the ball up the middle to about the 21 yard line. Again, Lions must win today to keep their playoff hopes alive. They must win today to keep their playoff hopes alive. The timeout here on the field. The challenge on the play. I guess going to challenge the spot of the football, whether it was a first down. So we got a commercial break for 2 minutes here. Surprising that the Vikings are challenging the spot. It would be third down, obviously, but I don't know. I think that's so inconsequential at this point. But okay, timeout on the field. Chris Yannick, C1 Review, covering Las Vegas. Let's continue to talk about the NFL week. Steelers, Browns. Again, Steelers division road game. Better find a way. The Steelers lose the Browns by some chance this week. And then we got week 18 with the Ravens. The Ravens have got to win either way. If the Ravens don't win on Saturday, it pretty much gives the Steelers the division. So the Ravens can win on Saturday. This will be a meaningful game. But if not, then it won't be week 17. So Steelers may have nothing to play for, potentially, if the Ravens lose to the Packers on Saturday, which I could see happening. Isn't that incredible? So Steelers could basically have nothing to play for the last 2 weeks. I don't think they can make the division. I think they're going to be the 4. But again, if I'm Buffalo, I'll go to Pittsburgh week 1. I'll gladly go to Pittsburgh. I will gladly go to Pittsburgh. Buffalo can absolutely beat Pittsburgh. They already have one time, and they'll do it again. So, yeah, give me Buffalo over Pittsburgh in the wild card round. If I'm Buffalo, that's what I want. I do not want to play the Chargers. I don't want to play the Broncos. I do not want to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do not want to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars could be the 1 seed, but and New England, we know that situation also. So Buffalo against Pittsburgh. Give me Buffalo over Pittsburgh round 1. I'm sorry. Again, as I said on the other side, if it's the Buccaneers by some chance and not the Panthers, the team who plays the who plays the Buccaneers week 1, give me that team too in the wild card round. I will take absolutely both of those teams without even having to look at the matchups further if everyone is as is. Sorry. There's no way either of those division winners is winning a playoff game. It's not happening. All right, we're back in Minnesota. They did win the challenge. Minnesota challenging for a couple of inches. And guess what? They hold them in the backfield on 3rd down. So I've got to tell you something. It was absolutely a good play on that part. And the Lions have fumbled the football, if you can believe it. The Lions have fumbled the football. So sometimes challenging does make sense in that regards. So fumbling the football by the Lions is going to be in the red zone for the Minnesota Vikings. It's going to be in the red zone. That's incredible. It paid off. It sure did. 10th fumble recovery this season by the Minnesota Vikings. Well, it'll only pay off if they actually score some points here, which, again, got to get the points on the board now. And you got a backup quarterback on the field. Christian XC1 review covering Las Vegas and the world. Live reaction today, Christmas Day, NFL, Minnesota, Detroit. Minnesota is currently inside the 7-yard line of Detroit after a fumble recovery. No score, 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Happy holiday season's greeting. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Boxing Day. Happy celebrating I don't have to go to work today. Happy I'm not celebrating everything, but I get off a day today. Wherever you are in the world, hope you're enjoying time with whoever you want to spend time with. And thanks for joining us today and making it part of your Christmas and your holidays. 2nd and 1 coming up here for Minnesota inside the 10-yard line. They're going to run the ball again. They're going to get the first down again there. And that's going to be 1st and goal now for the Vikings. I don't think anybody expected this to be the beginning of expect anyone for this to be the beginning of this game. I think people expected maybe Detroit would get out to an early lead and not look back, but not what we were expecting today, obviously. But again, as I always tell you, these division road games are absolutely challenging, and more challenging. Incomplete pass, 1st and goal, 2nd and goal coming up. Going to be inside the 1-yard line here on a 3rd and goal. If Minnesota does not get it here, will they go for it on 4th and goal? They very well might. Inside the 1 here. Well, that's not good news for the Baltimore Ravens. That's not good news at all. Because you're playing a team who also needs to win to make the playoffs. That is not good news. Third and goal for the Minnesota Vikings here. We're getting to the end of the first quarter. And the Vikings are going to get in the end zone with our Christmas Day touchdown. Aaron Jones with a touchdown for the Minnesota Vikings to make it 6-0. 1 minute and 35 seconds left in the first quarter. Good start for the Minnesota Vikings with a backup quarterback today in a meaningless football game. But the Vikings are playing motivated football. Again, they're playing like they're going to the playoffs or a potential playoff team, and they got nothing to play for. But again, the Vikings have played well the last couple of weeks against Washington, Dallas, and the New York Giants. The kick is up. Pending extra point is good. 7-0 Minnesota over the Detroit Lions. 90 seconds left here in the in the first quarter. We'll put that in the chat. Got a commercial break coming up, obviously. See if Detroit can match that. Again, Detroit doesn't win today, it's over. If Detroit does not win today, it is over for the Lions. So, again, a lot of potential this year for the Detroit Lions. A lot of potential this year for the Detroit Lions. But if they do not win today, their playoff hopes are over. Over, ladies and gentlemen, over. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Hanukkah. Happy New Year. Happy Boxing Day. Happy I don't have to work today. Happy I get a day off from work because of this holiday, whatever you're celebrating. We're here, NFL Live. Lions, Vikings. It's on Netflix, by the way. Yeah. Lions need to win today. Lions need to win today, or there's no hope for their playoffs. No hope for their playoffs whatsoever. We're live here in Las Vegas, enjoying Christmas with you guys today and the holiday. Got 10 seconds left. Lions are at the first. Lions have a first down. Jared Goff so far 3 for 3 and 38 yards passing. That's going to be the end of the first quarter. 7-0 Minnesota over the Lions after the first quarter. One thing you can still do, by the way, for a couple more days if you're in Las Vegas or you're visiting the entertainment capital of the world, and go over and watch the video on our main channel if you want to see what it is. By any chance, or you just want to see it for yourself, if you want some Christmas content, Enchant Christmas at the Las Vegas ballpark goes through December 28th. We went out there a couple weeks ago and showed you the amazing Christmas maze at the Las Vegas ballpark, which is the home, of course, of the minor league baseball team, the Las Vegas Aviators, in downtown Summerlin. Great ballpark. Of course, that feeds into the athletics, but great ballpark, great area for sure. And I just have to tell you one thing more than anything else. Fun place. So if you're in Vegas, want to go experience something Christmas themed, the Las Vegas ballpark's Enchant Christmas goes through December 28th. A couple more days of that still. Probably have a big crowd tonight. They got ice skating ring. They've got all kinds of stuff out there. There's an ice skating ring as well. There's all these different Christmas vendors and things like that. Holiday stuff, fun stuff like that. And of course, lots of good food. Everything from tacos to chicken fingers and everything in between. I had a great time there a couple of weeks ago. Really liked that. So you want to go over and just experience that. If you're not going to go, obviously, physically, go over to our main channel. Watch the Enchant Christmas video. I had a great conversation as well last week with Siegel's Bagel Mania, talking about their dishes for Hanukkah. You know, they're a great Jewish deli in town here in Las Vegas, near the Las Vegas Strip. They've been here since 1989. Go over and watch that video as well. Again, me and Lane Fobbs are over there. College football playoff predictions at halftime. Me and Tom are going to talk college football playoffs. We're going to talk college football playoffs at halftime, round 2 games. I already did them with Lane, but me and Tom are going to do them. We're going to have discussions about those at halftime, and that'll be fun. And well, Snoop Dogg is entertaining the crowd in Minnesota, of all places, which is quite amazing in itself. Las Vegas resident, of course. And yep, that's what we're looking forward to on the halftime show today. Again, thank you so much for taking, whether it be a couple minutes, a couple hours with us today. We really appreciate it very much. We've made some great strides here on C1 Review on YouTube. We love our lives. They're getting bigger every week, and we really appreciate you all making the time to come in and talk football with us wherever you are in the world, because there's NFL fans all across the world, from Mexico to Brazil to the United Kingdom and Germany and Spain. They're just everywhere. And Canada, of course, too. First attempt of the second quarter by the Lions gets them over midfield. There'll be second down upcoming here. See what the Vikings can do. Second and 8. Second and 6. Let's see if the Vikings can hold the Lions again and keep them going without getting any points. Lions are going to run again here. We're going to have a third and... Oh, we have another turnover on the field, if you can believe it. The Detroit Lions have fumbled the football again. Again, these division road games are tough, but Minnesota has a backup quarterback on the field. They got a 7-0 lead, and now they've got the football at midfield. Another fumble by the Detroit Lions today. It looks like this is going to be, you know, this could be, hopefully, if this is a close game, it'll be because Detroit barely ekes it out here. That's not the kind of play that you can afford to have right now. Detroit fumbles the football. Minnesota will be at midfield. Again, Detroit must win today to keep their NFC playoff hopes alive. If the Lions lose today, that is it. There is no way. That is absolutely it if the Lions do not win today. See if the Vikings are able to capitalize at midfield here. Good tackle by the Lions there. 14 minutes of the half. 7-0 Minnesota. Interesting enough, 7 turnovers and 7 wins for the Vikings, but 22 in all their losses. Kind of an interesting scenario here for the 7-8 Minnesota Vikings. 2nd and 8 at midfield here. They're not exactly at midfield in field goal range. They would need probably another like about 10 yards. The Vikings are going to throw a pass there. It's going to be about 3rd and 5 upcoming here. 13 minutes and 30 seconds left in the half, about approximately. Bobbled catch by the tight end there for the Minnesota Vikings. He did haul it in, though. Sims with the catch there. 3rd and 5 for the Vikings. Yeah, here's my response to you in this regard. It's nice that you're playing to avoid a losing season. I agree with that. The coaches are obviously playing for their jobs. The players are playing for their jobs, but it doesn't help your draft pick situation. That's the one thing it does not help. It does not help your draft pick situation. 3rd and 10 for the Vikings after that penalty, which does not help them. This is where you want to be careful if you're a backup quarterback in your second start in NFL history. You do not want to throw a pick six here or something like that. This is where you need to be careful, because if you try too hard, you could just give the momentum back to the other side very simply. We now have a penalty flag. It looks like it's going to be going in the other direction. See if they got another false start. The Vikings are just hurting themselves here on this drive. 3rd and 15 now coming up. The Lions, if they're able to get out of this one and they punt the ball, they'll be happy about that situation. That's for sure. And they get sacked in the backfield. And the Lions are going to play good enough defense there to force a punt. Brusmer gets sacked. Vikings do not get any points. 11 minutes and 30 seconds to the half here. Good defense by Detroit. Again, 1st to 10 wins today? I don't think so, but you never know. Seven nothing. Lions down to the Vikings. 11 minutes of the half here on Christmas Day. Happy season's greetings. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Boxing Day. Whatever you celebrate. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for being here today and being with me from Las Vegas, the most exciting city in the world. We greatly appreciate you coming by today and logging in. It really helps a lot, whether you're watching in real time or you're watching the recorded version. And more of you are watching the recorded versions of these NFL Lives from Las Vegas. We really appreciate you more than you could ever imagine. So let's look at some scores around sports today. Earlier today, of course, again, Dak Prescott threw 19 for 37 and 307 yards and 2 touchdowns. As the Dallas Cowboys get to 7-8 on the NFL season, 7-8-1, excuse me, they beat the Washington Commanders 30-23. Additionally, today also in sports, 1 second. Also today in sports, NBA is currently going on. Couple of finals. Knicks outlast the Cavaliers 126 to 124. 250 points scored in that NBA game today as the Knicks win at home at Madison Square Garden to go to 21-9 in the season. Also, the San Antonio Spurs beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 117 to 102. The Spurs are now 23-7 on the season. The Thunder have only lost 5 games so far. Later today, Denver will play Kansas City. We know now the only scenario in that game that matters. Denver, you cannot lose that game. If you lose that game, you're going to be hurting yourself in the playoff seedings. Kansas City playing for nothing but pride. No playoffs for the Kansas City Chiefs this year. So, yeah. Can the Chiefs keep that one close tonight? I do not know. But the Broncos have everything to lose in that game by not winning that game. So, not something you can really truly afford to lose, honestly. Currently, we're here live. Second quarter, Minnesota 7, Detroit nothing. 11 minutes to the half. Detroit has the ball. We'll see if Detroit is able to match this one up before the half. So we'll see. But I got to tell you something. Detroit not looking great here. Their playoff hopes hang in the balance. They must win today. Merry Christmas again. Happy season's greetings. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Boxing Day. Happy whatever you celebrate, and Happy New Year. Jared Goff is going to get sacked on first down there. It seems like the Vikings are really, truly motivated. They look like the playoff team today. The Lions do not look like the potential playoff team today. I have to tell you that. The Lions do not look like the potential playoff team today. Not playing great here in this first half. So far, 2nd and 16 coming up. Can the Lions get a drive going and get some points on the board here before the half? We shall see. Incomplete pass. Really, a really risky pass there. That would not have thrown that one. I would not have thrown that one. Really risky pass there by Jared Goff. 3rd and 16 here. What do you do deep in your own zone right now? Deep in your own territory. 3rd and 16 here. You really need to get something moving here. You're down 7-0 already. Playoff hopes hang in the balance. Let's see what the Lions can do here on 3rd down and 16. And they're going to get a first down. They are going to get a first down. They're going to get that first down, which they absolutely needed. First down, Detroit. The drive will continue here around their own 41-yard line. That's 2nd and 8 going to come up here. Got Barry Sanders now here, former Detroit Lions great star, of course, on the thing for here for the Netflix broadcast. Kind of cool seeing Barry after all these years. Welcome everybody again. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Boxing Day, Happy New Year, season's greetings, whatever you celebrate. We're here live today talking Detroit, Minnesota on Christmas Day live from Las Vegas, the most exciting city in the world. Another thing you can do on Christmas in Las Vegas, if you're not a Las Vegas Strip person, you can also go to Fremont Street. Every year on Fremont Street, there's a gigantic Christmas tree, which is right next to the Fremont Hotel and Casino. If you're looking for a great Christmas tree, great landmark in Las Vegas, Fremont Street's gigantic Christmas tree next to the Fremont Hotel and Casino on Fremont Street Experience. Go see the big Christmas tree on the Fremont Street Experience. Something else you can do today if you're in Las Vegas on Christmas. First down for the Lions. They're in Minnesota territory now at the approximate 43-yard line. Lions are going to run the ball a little bit there and get inside the about 35-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and 2 for the Lions upcoming here. $7:49 left in the half here. First down for the Lions. They'll be inside the 30 of Minnesota. Seven minutes to the half here between Detroit and Minnesota. We are 7 minutes till Snoop Dogg, ladies and gentlemen. Incomplete pass. I agree. This is a very nice sustained drive by the Detroit Lions against the Vikings here. Lions need to get a touchdown here. Field goal's okay, but a touchdown would be much better. You've had 2 turnovers already on the field, 2 fumbles to that Vikings defense. You really want to get a touchdown here. Again, the Vikings are playing more like a playoff team today, I feel like, than the Lions. And the Lions are the ones who still have a chance to make the playoffs. Packers win on Saturday makes it much more difficult. Basically, it's pretty much over. But again, Lions want to keep anything alive. They've got to win today. Third down coming up for the Lions. 6 minutes and 40 seconds until the half here. 3rd and 15. Again, Lions are near field goal range at least. They are near field goal range at least. Tom says if the Detroit Lions do not end up getting the touchdown on this drive, it is a complete failure. Well, we'll see about that. 3rd and 15. Well, they're going to be about 1st and goal. The Minnesota Vikings on that play brought the house to try to sack Jared Goff, and Jared Goff moved to the right side of the field, and he did not get sacked, and he threw it downfield, and now it's going to be inside the 15-yard line. So Lions do have a chance to get a touchdown. Chris Shanek, live from Las Vegas, NFL Live reaction, Christmas Day, Lions, Vikings. Thank you all for joining us in the room. We're already at our highest peak so far this year for an NFL Live. There have been a lot of people around here on the holidays, new people, new audience today. Thank you so much, wherever you are in the world, the country, the United States. Again, Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Boxing Day, Happy New Year, season's greetings, happy, I don't celebrate anything today, but I don't have to go to work, whatever it might be. Thank you so much for joining us today. I agree on that front. See, though, if the Lions can punch it in here. Again, they really need to punch it in here, as Tom was talking about. They really need to. So The hometown Las Vegas Raiders play on Sunday for the first pick in the NFL draft against the Giants. Should be quite interesting to see. There's an injury on the field for the Lions here. We're going to have a couple minutes break here, it looks like. Lions play this year on both Christmas Day and Thanksgiving. Again, they're one of the better teams in the NFL, obviously, and in recent years. And, I think people would probably be in an uproar if this game was at Detroit, right, and not Minnesota. They'd be like, why does Detroit get 2 home games on holidays? So, but a split here, obviously. Play at home against the Packers, lost that game 31-24. But playing here today against the Vikings on the road, losing 7-0, but they are in field goal range right now. Again, Minnesota really needs to find a way to win today. Find a way to win today for their own pride. Detroit is trying to find a way to win today for their playoff hopes, whatever are left of them. And again, had Detroit beat Pittsburgh on last Sunday, be in a much better situation, but they didn't, And I think a lot of people had high expectations for Detroit this year, thought that they could make a run, but they may not even make the playoffs, it looks like. So kind of a challenging year for the Lions. So I think they're going to probably keep with Jack. I think they probably want to stay with Jackson Dart, right? So, yeah, if I'm the Giants, I do want to trade down. I think the Raiders have a good chance to win on Sunday. If I were to pick that game, if I had to pick that game, I'd pick the Raiders on Sunday to win for sure. I think the Raiders, I think the Giants, I think they've seen all they can. I think the Raiders are capable on Sunday. My final score would be Raiders 20 and Giants 13 on Sunday. We'll see. I tell people also it's the cheapest ticket you're ever going to get to a Las Vegas Raiders NFL game. You can get a ticket right now for around $65 to go on Sunday. If you wanted to go see the battle of the first pick in the NFL draft, the Raiders versus the Giants. If you wanted to go see that on Sunday, it's the cheapest ticket you're ever going to see. The Raiders games tend to be the highest ticket in the NFL. Obviously, a lot of fans from the road teams come because they make it a Vegas vacation as well. So, but again, if you're interested, you're in Las Vegas. If you're interested in going to a Las Vegas Raiders game and you want to get it for under $100, this is the weekend to go. Won't be the prettiest game, but it will be the NFL action, So there you go in that regard. We'll be here. I'll be here doing my NFL lives. You know that. I want to watch. I really want to watch Eagles and Bills also, Tom. There you go. I really want to watch Eagles and Bills. So looking forward to watching Eagles and Bills. And you want to watch Eagles and Bills too. I know that for a fact. I mean, how could you not want to watch the Eagles and Bills on Sunday? I think Buffalo wins, though. Run inside the 7-yard line. Lions are going to have third down upcoming here. Be interesting to see how the Lions do on this play. We're going to talk college football playoffs at the half. And we'll keep an eye on the Snoop Dogg concert in the background. Las Vegas resident Snoop Dogg is the halftime show for this Minnesota-Detroit game. Third and 5 for the Lions. They did not get to that marker. It's going to be like 4th and 1, I think. It's going to be like 4th and 1. And I'm going to guess that the Campbell-led Detroit Lions are going to go for it again. I'll be surprised if they kick the field goal here. I do not think they're kicking the field goal here. What are your thoughts on the Detroit Lions helmets, by the way, Tom? Speaking of the Vikings, Lions are kind of wearing an interesting helmet today. I kind of like those, honestly, to tell you the truth. But they remind me of the Carolina Panthers. 4th and 1, they are going to go for it, it looks like. Looks like somebody called a timeout on the field, or is there going to be a penalty flag? Timeout. There was a timeout, so we'll be back. They look like old school Carolina Panther helmets. I don't know. But I like those. I like those Detroit Lions helmets. Got a review here on the play on that last play. All right, here we go. 4th and 1 for the Lions. Can the Lions convert here? If not, they're going to be leaving the Vikings inside the 5-yard line. I agree that going for a field goal here doesn't make sense. See if the Lions can get there. The Lions can. I don't think he got there. I do not think he got there. It's all going to depend on the spot right now. I don't think Montgomery got to the line. Let's see what they say. It's all going to depend on where they spot him. Tom says he got it. I feel like it's close. I feel like it's worth a measurement, but that's just my opinion. I feel like he got some forward progress, but then he got pushed to the side there. It was like a forward leap, but then a side backwards. So I understand you rate forward progress there. So let's look at the marker. But yeah, I mean, if you count forward progress, then it is 1st and goal, and you're 100% right. And the Vikings are going to challenge again. Vikings challenged earlier on the spot, and the next play, the Lions fumbled the football, which led to the Vikings getting a touchdown. So let's see what happens when the Vikings challenge for the second time in this NFL game. We're going to take a break. 2 minutes and 38 seconds of the half. Minnesota 7, Detroit nothing. On the CY Interview YouTube Las Vegas Sports Network. We're here in Las Vegas, the most exciting city in the world. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Boxing Day. Happy whatever you celebrate, and Happy New Year and season's greetings from CY Interview here in Las Vegas. Thank you so much for making the time. We've had so many more. We've had the most logins, I think, of any of our NFL Lives so far. A lot of you are on the internet here on this holiday, doing what you're doing across the world. And thank you for being here, and thank you for logging in today. So one thing to get, another thing, let's think. All right, so we talked about it. The Botanical Garden at the Bellagio, unbelievable Christmas display. Worth going inside, all those floral flowers. The big Christmas tree on Fremont Street, next to the Fremont Hotel and Casino, worth seeing. Additionally, all the resorts in Las Vegas have their own Christmas and holiday displays. I was over at the Tuscany last night. They had a very beautiful Christmas tree right adjacent to the lobby down the hallway as you walk to their Copa Lounge in the casino. But there are beautiful trees in all of these resorts in Las Vegas. So if you want to see a variety of different Christmas trees and decorations, just go to a Las Vegas hotel today and resort. They're just beautiful. So a couple of things. I mentioned also, of course, we did the video a couple of weeks ago, Enchant Christmas at the Las Vegas Ballpark through December 28th. Go see the Great Christmas Maze, home of the Las Vegas Aviators. So there are some Christmas and holiday things. Again, we had on Siegel's Bagel Mania talking about dishes for Hanukkah, potato latkes and the such. Last week, of course, Siegel's Bagel Mania, right adjacent to the Las Vegas Strip. Again, oldest deli in Vegas, 1989. Pretty amazing. Later tonight, the Chiefs will take on the Broncos. We know what the scenario is there. Broncos, you lose, you screw up your playoff seeding. Broncos, you win, you're fine. Again, these division rival games are always tough. We always talk that they're tough. It doesn't matter if you got your second, third string quarterback in there. They're tough. Detroit is experiencing that today. It is 1st and goal for Detroit after the challenge. So Minnesota does lose that challenge. It's going to be second and goal after that run. We're going to get probably down to the 2-minute warning here in a minute. See if Detroit tries to run a play here. I don't think they're going to. Nope, they're not going to. Okay. 2 minutes left. We are 2 minutes till halftime, and Snoop Dogg, Las Vegas resident, performing the halftime show for the Minnesota Vikings crowd. 7-0 Minnesota over Detroit. Detroit is inside the 5-yard line with their Carolina Panthers-inspired helmets. I do like those helmets, though. Yeah, here's my response to you. Ready? Jacksonville. If Jacksonville gets to go to Denver again, give me Jacksonville again every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I think Jacksonville's defense is as good as Denver, and I think they have a better offense. And we saw what happened last week, and I know it's hard to beat a team twice. But if it was Jacksonville at Denver, give me Jacksonville in the playoffs. Give me Jacksonville. Jacksonville's a motivated team. Jacksonville can beat New England. Jacksonville can beat the Chargers. Jacksonville can beat Denver. Jacksonville could beat New England or Buffalo on any given week. Jacksonville is a good football team. This may be the year that Jacksonville Jaguars get to the Super Bowl. This could very well be the year that the Jacksonville Jaguars get to the Super Bowl. You know, I like Buffalo still. Buffalo, Jacksonville, though, that'd be an interesting game. That would be a coin flip game, in my opinion, if that was for the AFC. That would be a coin flip game. Christian XC1 review covering Las Vegas and the world. Merry Christmas. Happy season's greetings. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Boxing Day. Happy whatever you celebrate. We'll say it 50 times to the end of this broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us today, for where you are across the world on this holiday edition of NFL Live, Las Vegas style C1 review, of course. We're watching the Vikings and the Lions. There's 2 minutes left until the half. The Vikings are up on the Lions 7-0, but the Lions are inside the 5 of Minnesota, trying to tie this one up before we go to the half, and we see Las Vegas resident Snoop Dogg perform for the crowd. NFL on Christmas Day, again, still relatively a new thing. We're so used to the NFL on Thanksgiving, but NBA and Christmas as well. Again, disappointed there's no college basketball today, but that's just me. But here we are. Here we are. 2 minutes left until the half. Second and goal for Detroit. Let's see if Detroit can tie it up here before we get to the half here. Incomplete pass. It's going to be third and goal for the Lions here. Here's the key play. So Tom says if the Lions do not get a touchdown on this drive, it's deemed a failure. I think if the Lions don't get any more yards on this next play, they're probably going to be kicking the field goal, my guess. Let's see what the Lions can do here on third down. Don't they wish they had Calvin Johnson or Brandon Pettigrew in there right now? Fourth and goal. The Lions are still on the field, if you can believe it, on this one. I guess the Lions don't feel like that they're going to score a lot of points today, which is kind of incredible. I don't know. I'd probably be kicking the 3 here. I don't know. From the 4-yard line? I agree. I'm just saying, don't you wish you had more depth on the field? I mean, are they really gonna go for it here on 4th and goal? I don't think so. Timeout, Detroit. I guess you just feel like maybe that this is gonna be a defensive game today, and so your feeling is, well, if I don't get it here, I leave the Vikings so deep in their territory that maybe I could still get the ball back before the half, maybe? I don't know about that, but I think it's an interesting I think it's an interesting proposition for a couple of reasons, and I'll tell you why. Number one, they're at the 4-yard line, they're not at the 1-yard line. So why would you this is you gotta get a perfect pass here or a perfect run or you're not scoring. It's not like it's at the 1, it's at the 4. It's at the 5 actually, approximately. Well, not the 4, I guess. 4.5, we'll call it. Oh my god, what a catch. Did he drop it? No, he did catch it. Isaac Tesla catches the ball, hurts himself, but what a catch in between the defenders there. Touchdown, Detroit. That is not a failure, Tom. That is not a failure because they scored their touchdown, Detroit. 7-6 Detroit down now to Minnesota pending the extra point. What a catch. What a catch. Unbelievable effort by the Detroit Lions there. And you get paid the big bucks to catch those footballs and throw those footballs. What a catch. Again, Detroit would have done a couple things differently this year. They wouldn't be in this situation, right? You know, Detroit should have beat Pittsburgh last week. They were down there at the end, didn't convert. This is where you are. The kick is up and it's good. 7-7 Detroit and Minnesota. 1 minute left until the half. Let's see if Minnesota can do anything. We'll update that in the score box. It's Detroit 7, Minnesota 7. 19 plays and 80 yards there for the Detroit Lions on that drive, by the way. Yeah, well, he may be getting a contract raise after that case, Tom. There may be some incentives and bonuses too. You never know. I'd be giving that guy a bonus. I'd be throwing him something on Christmas Day. He deserves a Christmas bonus for catching that one. Give him a holiday bonus. Well deserved. Lions are about to kick this one off. We'll see if the Vikings just play conservative here. If I'm the Vikings, I'm probably going to be playing conservative and just going to the half. I don't want to do anything too crazy here if I'm the Vikings. That's just my opinion. I probably just want to do a couple of runs and get to the half. I'll be grateful to be tied 7-7 at the half. With my backup quarterback, I'll take that. We'll see how aggressive they are here. I don't expect them to be very aggressive, though, on this one. I really don't. Well, they actually did step up in the pocket and throws one incomplete there. I think now if I'm the Vikings, I mean, the Lions do have 2 timeouts remaining, it looks like. There is a penalty flag, though. That could be roughing. That is legal hands to the face. So that's going to be a first down for the Vikings there. So the Vikings will get to move the ball a little bit here. Still very far away from field goal range, but it doesn't look like the Vikings are just going to be grateful to get to the half here. Looks like the Vikings are going to attempt to try to get at least 3 points on the board here before the half, which kind of surprises me, but I guess when you've got nothing to lose and your NFL season's already over, why not? Vikings are at their own 40, first and 10, 59 seconds until the half. About a 6-yard pass there, closer to midfield. Really no sense of urgency for the Vikings. 40 seconds until the half here. And the Lions are going to sack the Vikings in the backfield. And the Lions are going to use one of their 2 timeouts. So now the Vikings are going to have to run a. Got to be careful here. They're probably just going to run the ball to make the Lions use their last timeout. But Lions are thinking we can get the ball back and maybe get some points on the board. See, this is why I would have been more conservative if I were the Vikings. Originally, I would have probably been more conservative, honestly. If they do end up giving some points up to the Lions before the half, I'll look back on this and say, why didn't you just run the football? See what the Vikings do here. They're on 3rd and 16. You're not going to be doing anything too crazy here, I don't think. You don't want to do an incomplete pass because if you do an incomplete pass, you give the Lions a timeout and approximately 30 seconds left, which is an eternity for Jared Goff when his offense is moving along. 3rd and 16 here for the Vikings at their own 35-yard line. Vikings are going to throw to the middle of the field. They're not going to get a first down, but they are going to use up some of that clock. And so it's down to 26 seconds left. There's an injury on the field for the Vikings. So the Vikings will punt, and the Lions will have approximately about 18 seconds to do something. Maybe about 17, depending on the return. But a player is down on the field for the Minnesota Vikings currently. Christian, NXT1 review. Covering Las Vegas and the world, we are live from the most exciting city in the world, Las Vegas. Again, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, season's greetings, Happy New Year, whatever you celebrate. I get a day off from work today, celebrate. Hope you're enjoying your holiday. Detroit, Minnesota today, 7-7. We're doing that. NFL Live Reaction will be back, of course, on Sunday. We'll be here for you again also. Looking forward to watching Carolina and Seattle, among others. Miami, Tampa Bay as well. But we're here right now. 7-7, 26 seconds until the half. Minnesota and Detroit. See if the Lions attempt to block the kick here. See if they try to rush the house here. You're not kidding, a must-win for the Bucs. The punt is away. There's nobody back. And yeah, 15 seconds for the Lions. I don't know what the Lions are going to do with these 15 seconds. But again, now this for the Lions situation is you got to be careful. So here's the scenario. You got to win in Minnesota. You got to win next week at Chicago. Green Bay has to lose 2 games. That's it. That's the only way Detroit gets in. Green Bay has to lose both games. They have to win both games. That is the only scenario. So if Green Bay beats Baltimore on Saturday, all this is for naught. But I got to tell you something. Again, Detroit did not have to be in this situation. They could have beat Pittsburgh last week. They did not. But, yep, this is where we are right now. By the way, Chicago has to play San Francisco and Detroit to end the season. Not easy stuff. Not easy stuff at all. Goff is going to get sacked in the backfield. He should be grateful he did not fumble that football. And that's it. That's the half right there. 7-7, Detroit and Minnesota. A game of defense here in Minnesota today on Christmas Day. Christianic C1 Review, Las Vegas YouTube Network. Thank you so much for joining us. Snoop Dogg is now at the half. We'll be back in a minute. Then we'll start talking college football playoff predictions for the next round. I'm going to be back in 2 minutes, but we're at the halftime in Minnesota, Christmas Day. Minnesota Vikings 7, Detroit Lions 7. Hi, Ann. Happy holidays. Welcome in. We're at the half between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions live here from Las Vegas. Um, we're talking that game today, obviously, and we're going live discussing it here in Las Vegas. We do NFL Lives every week. This is our special edition. All right, we're at the half. Here's a couple of thoughts I have for you before we get to the we're going to do what we're going to do for our half. My thoughts are the Detroit Lions, um, 2 fumbles in the first half. They need to hold on to the ball more. No more turnovers. It was great they converted that 4th down for the touchdown to make it 7-7. And they need to win today or the playoffs hopes are over. So Detroit needs to find a way to win. They should win. Hopefully the Lions find ways to make adjustments at the half. Snoop Dogg, of course, is currently performing for the Minnesota Vikings crowd right now. But I just have to tell you one thing truly, and this is what I'm going to say more than anything else. Lions need to have a little more sense of urgency in the second half, and if they do, they should be able to close the doors on Minnesota and win today. We're going to now, and by the way, Ann, thanks so much for joining us. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can keep up with all of our other stuff from Las Vegas and all the other content we do here at C1 Interview. Thank you so much for coming in today. It seems like it's a slower moving game, but it's been pretty fast, actually, to tell you the truth, so far. Okay, let's talk college football playoff predictions. Earlier this week, me and Lane Bobs, who will be on a break next week. No more college football updates next week because we're going to wait, obviously, until after this college football playoff round. But we talked about the 4 games for the next round, so let's just go through them quickly. Georgia and Ole Miss, I think Georgia wins. The reason I think Georgia wins is because no more Lane Kiffin. They did beat Tulane, but this is going to be a challenging circumstance. Georgia head coach Kirby Smart will be ready. He knows how to win these big games. I think Ole Miss has just got too many distractions and too many random things going on. I don't see how if a backup coach goes in and beats Georgia and then somehow is able to win the next game and take them to the college football playoff final, that is incredible. But I don't see it happening. Give me Georgia over Ole Miss, number 1. Number 2, Oregon and Texas Tech. Me and Lane talked about this on Monday night. Texas Tech, the reason I like Tech is for 2 reasons. Though a lot of people seem to like Oregon. I like Tech because they had the bye, right? They had a bye, so they had a less game. And I just think that the fact that Oregon gave up 34 points to James Madison in the first round of the college football playoff, I feel like Tech will probably have their best offensive showing of the year. But a lot of people like Oregon because they seem to think that Oregon's got more future NFL pros on that team and more stars. So a lot of people are taking Oregon over Tech. I don't know. I think that there is some advantage to having that extra game, having to play less game. Excuse me. So, but okay. Number 3, Ohio State and Miami. We already know what's going to happen there. There's no way that Miami is going to beat Ohio State. Ohio State was lucky. Miami was lucky. Miami was lucky to get past TAMU with 10 points last week. Not going to happen this week. Give me Ohio State. Finally, Indiana and Alabama. This is a tough one. This is the tough one. I think that this will be decided by 4 points or less. And I still like Alabama, me and Lane. I mean, again, Alabama knows what it takes to win these big games. This is Indiana's biggest football game in its history, my opinion. This is Indiana's biggest football game in its history. I don't know if they're going to be ready for this. This is like the past and the future coming face to face in this. This is like The Rock versus Hogan, right? This is what we've got in Ohio, in Indiana versus Alabama. Alabama again has been great for the last 15 years. So. Reality, what it comes down to, I got to tell you, I don't know about that. I mean, Florida State did beat Alabama this year for your sake, Tom. But I don't know. I mean, I think I give the nod to Alabama, so we'll see. So those are my thoughts on the college football second round. Again, earlier today, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Washington Commanders 30-23. Dallas wins another meaningless football game. Dallas can beat the worst in the NFL, but they can't beat the best in the NFL, and that's why they're not going to the playoffs. I think my new rant and my ongoing stock of rants is going to be the fact that Dallas has left so many opportunities on the field over the last 10 years. They have lost so many chances to move ahead. Dallas could be in at least another Super Bowl at the very least at this point, but they have just missed so many opportunities. And Jerry Jones to just give the wings to somebody else. So while he's still here with us on this great football earth, he can actually see his Cowboys again potentially playing a Super Bowl. Hey, it's your team, it's your life, you're making tons of money, but I don't think Dallas Cowboy fans are very happy. I wouldn't be. Just my opinion. On the other side of the spectrum, Eagles, again, we've talked about them. I just don't see. I think they're going to lose to Buffalo on Sunday. I don't see them making the. I don't see them making the Super Bowl. I think the Rams and Seahawks are much more capable. And that's my point, and I'm sticking to it. If the Eagles have to go play at Seattle or at the Rams, good luck. I think I think both those teams probably beat the Eagles, honestly, to tell you the truth, the way that the Eagles have been playing so far this year. That's my opinion. So got to get it moving along. Got to get it moving along if you're the Eagles. If they lose to Buffalo this week, which I think they will again, doesn't say very much about them as the way. The Eagles, also just, Yeah, I mean, again, people forget about, obviously, Cam Newton bringing the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl when they lost to Denver and Peyton Manning. I had to think about that for a minute. I'm like, when did Carolina go to the NFC Championship game? And I'm like, oh, that's right. They went to the Super Bowl against Denver. They went to the Super Bowl against Denver. So, yeah, that just doesn't say very much. So, Lainey Wilson is her name. There's also a K-pop group supposedly on the field for this, if you can believe it. Watching this in the background. So this is the most random thing. It looks fun, though. See, this is why this game is sold out. People pay for these halftime shows. I mean, it's like going to the Super Bowl but not going to the Super Bowl, right? So got a K-pop group out there, got a country music star, and you got Snoop Dogg in the middle. I mean, if that's not the most random thing on the face of the earth, what is, So, but my opinion, Detroit Lions need to make adjustments. If they make adjustments, they'll end up winning today. But again, I expect that if the Packers are able to win on Sunday, and if the Baltimore Ravens don't have Lamar Jackson, it's going to be much easier for the Packers. Ball game over for the Lions. But I think the Lions will still play hard against the Bears in Week 18. I expect that. And the Bears are going to have things on the line in Week 18 most likely. So they better find a way. And that's what I have to tell you about that. Christian XC1 review covering Las Vegas and the world. And finally, again, Raiders win on Sunday. That's my bold prediction of the week. The Giants will get the first pick in the NFL draft. To me, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Giants, again, as Tom said, need to trade down if they end up getting the first pick. But Raiders 20, Giants 13, Allegiant Stadium, NFL Sunday. Book it. Something like that. Something like that. I expect that game will be very competitive and close throughout. Both those teams are going to want to win get a victory, though, in my opinion. Both those teams want to get their third win of the year. They absolutely do. So we shall see. Again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Boxing Day, Happy whatever you celebrate day, and Happy New Year from C1 Interview here in Las Vegas. The second half should start shortly here between today, the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. The halftime show with Snoop Dogg just finished up, and we'll see where it goes. And we'll be right back before we start the second half. And one thing we haven't talked about today before we start the second half live here from Las Vegas, so the Lions and the Vikings. One thing we have not talked about today, even though the 49ers won on Monday Night Football against the Colts, Philip Rivers looked phenomenal. How does a guy who hasn't played in the NFL in 5 years, I get that he's used to that offensive system, and I get it, but how does a guy who hasn't played in 5 years in the NFL come back and just make those passes look so easy? Those were very good statistics. Those were the kind of stats that if quarterback was putting those up every week, I'd probably just take those. And a lot of these starting NFL quarterbacks in the NFL don't have that kind of consistency. And I get it's a systems he's used to when he used to play with the Chargers back in the day, but Rivers just looked great for a guy who hasn't played football in 4 or 5 years. He just made it look so easy. And unfortunately, the Colts defense just wasn't there on Monday Night Football for his sake. But, again, hope we get to see him play again on Sunday. I'd really like to see that against Jacksonville, but we'll see what happens, obviously. The Detroit Lions, by the way, get the ball to start the second half. The Colts have already mentioned that they have no interest in bringing him back. But I mean, again, list the set of teams in the NFL who want a quarterback for a year. I know a team who I'd want him to be on. He's not going to be on that team though. I'd put him in Miami in a second. I'd move on from Tua because of the injuries, unfortunately. I'd have Rivers for a year in Miami. I mean, his consistency was just phenomenal, in my opinion. You know, there's a bunch of teams who have quarterback issues. Rivers could be good in Minnesota, too, also, by the way. I mean, is he going to become the Joe Flacco situation? I don't know. And the reality of what it comes down to is I know we talk about these comeback player of the years. I mean, do you get one just for coming back? Probably not. But again, it's an inspiring story, and it's not something we see very often. 30 seconds into the second half, it's 7-7 Detroit and Minnesota. Detroit's on a 2nd and 10 here from their own 35-yard line. Let's see if Detroit can find a way to execute and get some points up here to start the second half. It's going to be close to the first down marker. I think they're going to give it to him. See if he's stretched. See if they give him the first down there. Lions seem to be moving at a little faster pace to start the second half compared to most of the first half. So seems like the sense of urgency has finally sunk in for the Detroit Lions. 1st and 10 for the Detroit Lions against Minnesota. By the way, Green Bay has to play Minnesota next week. Not going to be an easy game for the Packers if they're not able to beat the Ravens on Saturday and lock that playoff spot up. 1st and 10 for the Lions. "45-yard line, 2nd and about 8, coming up after about a 2 to 3 yard run. "50-yard line for the Lions. We got about a 3rd and 5 coming up. Yeah, I know. The reality of what it comes down to is that he absolutely should have. Maybe they would give. I mean, are they really going to give Philip Rivers that potentially? I don't know if there are AFC and NFCs, but if it was just division alone, conference alone, I'd absolutely consider giving it to him because no one saw that happening. No one saw that happening. And the fact that he was able to get off the field, they almost beat Seattle 2 weeks ago and put in a great offensive performance, even though the Colts defense didn't play well. I mean, that's what I think about that anyway. 4th and 1 coming up for the Lions here, it looks like. Let's see if the Lions go for it again. Will the Lions go for it again? I don't think that was a 4th down. Yep, 4th and inches. And it looks like the Lions are going to go for it again. This will be interesting to see what happens here. 4th and inches for the Detroit Lions here against the Minnesota Vikings. First down for the Lions. They'll keep the chains moving. There's a penalty flag on the play. False start on the Lions. Well, if it looks like Detroit's going to have to punt now, I don't see Detroit going for it on 4th and 5 here. I don't see that happening. Lions are going to punt the football. $15-yard line to start with. Going to be a timeout for Minnesota when they come back. Minnesota, and in my opinion on this drive, can't be anything too cute here. You want to just work 10 yards at a time. You don't want to overthrow a pass and give the Lions a short field here. That's what I'd be looking for if I was Detroit in this situation. So, yeah, we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. We're on a commercial break. Another thing to do in Las Vegas on Christmas, the glittering lights at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You drive through the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, there are millions of lights. That's been an ongoing thing over the years here in Las Vegas. By the way, besides Enchant Christmas, which has ice skating, the Cosmopolitan on the Las Vegas Strip also has an ice skating ring. So if you are an ice skating enthusiast, many people are, the Cosmopolitan on the Las Vegas Strip also has an ice skating ring also. Okay, we're back. 1st and 10 for the Minnesota Vikings. 1st and 10 for the Minnesota Vikings. 10 minutes and 56 seconds left in the third quarter here. We're here on Christmas Day in Las Vegas. See what the Vikings can do on this drive. Can the Minnesota Vikings get it moving here? Can they get it moving? Haven't seen much since the turnover. They've been working with short fields mostly this whole game. Can the Minnesota Vikings find a way to get it moving here? Almost an interception possibly on that tip ball there. That was not what I'd be wanting to do if I were the Minnesota Vikings in that regard. 3rd down already upcoming here. You'll be punting from your own end zone if you don't get a 1st down here. So third and 9 coming up from Minnesota. Let's see what they can do here. Minnesota's going to come up short, and they're going to have to punt the football. So it looks like we're going to see some more conservative offense still in the second half. This is going to be a low-scoring game, it looks like. Again, 1st to 10 wins, one more who gets a field goal. Still early, but Minnesota does not get anything on that drive. 7-7, 10 minutes left. They're going to be punting back to Detroit here. 35-yard line. Detroit's going to start at their own 35. 9 minutes and 33 seconds left in the third quarter. 7-7 Detroit and Minnesota. You know, they're going to be talking about Chris Carter's dog, who's being shown here on the Netflix broadcast tomorrow. That'll be the highlight people are talking about, is Chris Carter's dog. Very nice Christmas tree in the background at Chris Carter's house. Pretty incredible tree there for sure. Former Minnesota Vikings wide receiver. Lions get about 2 yards, and that's going to be about it. Nine minutes left here in the third quarter. Detroit and Minnesota 7-7. Feels like a high school football game against two teams who scored next wins the game, right? What it feels like anyway. Ooh, sack in the backfield. Third down coming up here. Third and 18. Goff just threw a prayer up there, and that ball is going to be intercepted. And that is not a good play. That is the third turnover of the day for the Lions. Vikings are going to have the ball at midfield. Would have been better to probably take the sack there or try to throw it away. But Minnesota's going to end up with an interception, and they're going to be at midfield to start this next drive. We're on a commercial break. Still Minnesota 7, tied with the Lions 7-7, but Minnesota will be at midfield. 7:53 left in the third quarter. Feels like this game is moving along quickly because there's not a lot of scoring. But again, I'm not sure what Detroit was thinking about on that one. Would have been better off for Goff to take the sack and punt the football, potentially. But Minnesota's going to have a short field. Can they capitalize? Can they get any scores here? We'll see in a minute. Chris Shantek, C1 Review, covering Las Vegas and the world. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, season's greetings, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Boxing Day from the entertainment capital of the world in Las Vegas. We're watching the Lions and the Vikings today. NFL live reaction from Las Vegas. Third quarter 7-7. Yeah, I mean, you're right. This could be the equivalent of a Giants-Raiders game on Sunday. Again, I think Raiders get it done Sunday 20-13 against the Giants. We'll see if I'm right on Sunday. But again, yeah, if I'm the Giants, I'm right with you on that one, though. I'm trading that first pick. If I'm number one, I'm trading the pick. That's for sure. I agree with that. All right, so the Vikings are going to be at their own 38-yard line to start this one out on this drive after an interception. Jared Goff interception. And we'll see if the Vikings are able to get something moving along here. There's going to be a penalty flag on the field. Going to be a penalty on Detroit. That's not a good way to start. Holding on the defense. Again, I'll say it again. Detroit, they better get some sense of urgency quickly here, because if you lose today, you have no chance of making the playoffs. Vikings get a first down inside the Detroit 38-yard line. Again, if I'm Minnesota, I want to take my time, make sure I make the best play possible on each one. There's no reason to go fast. I'm at a disadvantage because my backup quarterback is in there. So, yeah, I don't want to be moving fast if I'm Minnesota. .35-yard line. 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Minnesota moving the ball just a couple yards at a time. Another first down for Minnesota here. Again, Minnesota wins over the Commanders, the Dallas Cowboys, and New York Giants in the last 3 weeks has taken the record from 4-8 to 7-8. They're playing probably their best football of the year right now. 5 minutes left in the third quarter, tied with Detroit. Detroit still has a chance to make the playoffs, but again, Detroit Lions lose today, they will not make the playoffs. They will not make the playoffs one bit. So, Detroit Lions season hangs in the balance as we get closer to this fourth quarter with a 7-7 game right now. .38-yard line approximately for the Vikings of the Lions. So they are knocking on field goal range here. going to be third down and approximately, I think, like 5 from the 28-yard line, something like that. See what the Vikings put together here on third down, live from Las Vegas. Again, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Boxing Day, and Happy New Year season's greetings, whatever you celebrate. 3rd and 8 for the Vikings at the 29-yard line. Lions are going to get him in the backfield. So quarterback Matt goes down for the Vikings. You've got like now a 52-yard field goal attempt if the Vikings want to attempt it. We shall see if they do. I think they're going to. 3 minutes left here in the third quarter. Here we go. Here's the kick. Kick is up. It's going to be good. 10-7, Minnesota over Detroit. So the Detroit Lions interception leads to a field goal for Minnesota. 10-7, Minnesota over Detroit. 3 minutes left in the third quarter. On the CY Interview Las Vegas YouTube network. So we got 3 minutes left in the third quarter here. Christian XC Interview covering Las Vegas and the world. Happy holidays to wherever you are in the world right now watching. Got 3 minutes left until the half. It's going to be very interesting to see how Detroit handles this because they're not playing well today. They have 3 turnovers and they're only down 3 points. Having only 3 turnovers and being down 3 points is probably a great break, honestly, to tell you the truth. That's my opinion. It probably is a really great break for your team. But the reality is that, again, Detroit has not played like a playoff team with a sense of urgency today. And they're down 10-7. So let's see what they're able to do on this drive with 3 minutes left until the half. They're going to start at their approximate 30-yard line is what we're looking at here. Again, lines are starting at their own 30. Let's see what we get here. Live from Las Vegas. Again, happy holidays to everybody. And another interception. And Jared Goff throws another interception. I mean, that is just... The Detroit Lions have 4 turnovers today, and they're down 10-7. And the Lions just don't seem in sync today. But again, here's my response to... We always talk about this, divisional games. These teams play each other twice a year. They know each other. Just because the Minnesota offense is at a disadvantage right now does not mean that the Minnesota Vikings defense is at a disadvantage. So with that being said, you have to come to that realization that this is just going to be a tough game. So if the defense is there, because they see Goff twice a year. So there you go. 4 turnovers today by the Detroit Lions offense. Minnesota is now going to try to move the ball down the field here and get some more points and try to get the touchdown. If Minnesota is able to get a touchdown here, then the Lions better get in a panic button mode, because this is not a great start for them. So the Lions are very lucky to only be down 3 points at this moment right now. That's for sure. With 4 turnovers, you would expect your team would be down much more than that. So got 3rd and about 7 coming up. So if Detroit is able to hold Minnesota here again, then okay, it stays at least a 1 possession game, but you got to get that going right now, basically. Incomplete pass, long field goal attempt for Minnesota if they choose to attempt it here. They're going to attempt a long field goal. They're going to attempt a 56-yard field goal. That one's going to be good too. Minnesota Vikings kicker's doing well today. 13-7, Minnesota over Detroit. 13-7, Minnesota over Detroit. 56-yard field goal is good. We still have 1:57 left in the 3rd quarter here. Let's see what Detroit does out of the box here. Again, 4 turnovers today, only losing by 6 points is pretty incredible, to tell you the truth. Just pretty incredible. Well, if they somehow do find a way to win today, turning it over 4 times, it'll be because Minnesota's inept offense was not able to help move the football down the field. That will be the reason why. Did Detroit win 14-13? I don't know. But my point is that it'll be because of that reason, for sure. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. We shall see here. 1 minute 57 seconds left here in the third quarter for Detroit. See what Detroit can do here, and see if they can get it moving along. I don't know if they're done. It's just a matter of how long can you keep it a one possession game. That's really what it comes down to, I think. How long can you keep something a one possession game? It's like tonight's game against the Broncos and the Chiefs. Just because these teams are division rivals, it could just be a close game anyways. It doesn't mean that KC will beat Denver tonight. But just because these teams are divisional, the reason itself, the run hasn't really worked on those first two downs. We'll see what they can do on 3rd and 4 here. 6 rushing yards in the last 2 plays. Can Detroit find a way to get a first down here to get to the fourth quarter? This is a big play for the Lions here. And they will get the first down with 27 seconds left here in the third quarter. And I think that's going to pretty much it. I'll be surprised if they do another play. Okay, we got 15 minutes left in our CY interview from Las Vegas, NFL Christmas Day special. Detroit versus Minnesota, live reaction here. 13-7 Minnesota over Detroit going to the fourth quarter. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Boxing Day, Happy Seasons. Greetings. We're going to take a couple-minute break before we get to the fourth quarter. Detroit, better get a score here. 13-7 going to the 4. First down and 10. First down and 10 for the Lions after the break. And we start the fourth quarter with another turnover. 5 turnovers today for the Detroit Lions. Sack on the play. That is not a great effort by the Lions right there. The Lions better hold the Vikings at a field goal range here. They better. Because if the Vikings get a field goal here, that's 2 possessions. A lot of time left, but Lions are not playing well. And the Vikings are already in field goal range, about 50 yards right now it would be. Kicker has a leg. There's a flag on the play, though. Looks like the Vikings are going back, so the Lions could get bailed out there on that one, potentially. This has to be one of Jared Goff's worst performances of his career. Has to be. Bottom 5 so far. But even with all that, the Lions still have a chance to win this game if they could hold them here without a field goal attempt. As amazing as that is, Vikings held in the backfield here is going to be like 2nd and 20 coming up here. 14 minutes left. Still a lot of time left. My thoughts, Tom, is that if the Chiefs can play a short game like this one today, if they can play a short game, they can absolutely 100% be competitive tonight. Not saying they can win, but it's got to be a game like this. That's how KC wins tonight, or keeps it close at least. Third and 24 for the Vikings here. Detroit may get bailed out because of that penalty. They may get bailed out because of that penalty. It'll be over, Tom, when it's a 2-score game. It's not a 2-score game yet, so it's not over yet. Keep that in mind. Vikings run the football to midfield, and they're going to punt. So the Lions, again, are going to have that opportunity to get the ball back. There's 5 turnovers by the Detroit Lions today, and they're only down 6 points. How is that even possible? How it's possible is because you have an inept offense run by a quarterback who's in only his 2nd start in NFL history. And that's why it's only 13-7. Lions get the ball back again. Lions are going to have the ball at their approximate inside the 20. 12 minutes and 56 seconds left in our Las Vegas NFL Live Reaction Christmas Day special. 13-7 Minnesota over Detroit. Will be interesting to see here what happens on this drive. Detroit's got to get it moving. They've got to have a long drive here, and they've got to find a way to get to the end zone. A field goal doesn't really help you at this point because of the way the flow of this game is going, I think. So if I'm Detroit, I really do not want to settle for a field goal on this drive. If we get down there, I want to get a touchdown. So, and again, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Boxing Day, Happy whatever you're celebrating, wherever you are in the world, season's greetings, and Happy New Year from C1 Review here in Las Vegas. Main channel right now. Go over there. Great discussion. The 2025 year in review of luxury watches with the great Archie Luxury, Paul Pluta. Find him at Archie Luxury on YouTube. Lane Fobbs and me have college football playoff predictions for round 2, which is upcoming shortly. 4 games, of course. And obviously go over and check out some of our holiday content we've done over the last couple of weeks. Thank you as always for being here on CY Interview today. Thank you for spending some of your holiday with us. We greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it very much. And I agree that SummerSlam will be very cool at that stadium in August, by the way. Tom, I agree with you on that. Did any of your teams get to the finals? Meaning, when I mean finals, did they get to the championship game, or are you in third place, or are you just in one third place game? Lions start this next drive. They're going to push forward and get about 5 yards in that run. We got about 12 minutes left in this game. It's Minnesota 13, Detroit 7. Detroit has 5 turnovers today. 5 turnovers. He'll buy dinner for his defense for sure if he wins. I mean, that's the fact. I mean, it's crazy in that regard. We'll see, though. They're far away. They got to get down there first. Close to the first down marker there. Not a bad run there on that second down. I think they're going to spot him, I think, on it. We'll take a look here in a minute. Let's look at the replay here. I think that's a first down, but we'll see. Nope, 3rd and 1 coming up for the Lions. Big play here. Goff is just going to push forward, and he's going to get it. First down, Detroit Lions. 11 minutes and 35 seconds left in this one. They're at their approximate 26, 27-yard line, something like that. What's incredible about this game is that they have 147 yards. The Lions have 147 yards on offense. Minnesota has 71. Minnesota has 71 yards and 13 points. And you know why they've got those 13 points again? It's because of points off turnovers. Points off of turnovers. 71 yards and 13 points. All scores within scoring range. 2 field goals, of course, and a touchdown inside the 20. Minnesota has managed this game as best as they possibly could, not having J.J. McCarthy in there. They have managed this game as best as you possibly could with a backup quarterback making his second career start. You can't ask for more than what Minnesota has given so far. So even if Minnesota loses today by some chance, they have played the kind of game that you would have to play to win a game like this. 2nd and 10 for Detroit at their own 27-yard line. About 10 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. There's a tackle in the backfield on the run. The Detroit Lions just have not been able to get the run game going at all today. Only 71 total yards. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Only 71 total yards. That's just crazy. But points off turnovers. And when you get the turnovers in scoring range with 5 turnovers, that's how you're winning. Detroit will not get the first down here. They're going to have to punt back to Minnesota again. So Detroit, just no sense of urgency. Playoff hopes hang in the balance. 9 minutes left. You're going to be punting the ball back to Minnesota. And if I'm Minnesota, I try to start getting that run game going somehow so I can milk this clock and move the chains a couple of times. It's not a good effort today by the Detroit Lions. This is not what people were expecting from them today, I think. I think people were expecting Detroit to win this game like 28-10, 24-10. Not playing well. The Lions are not playing well today. 8 minutes and 55 seconds left here. Going to get a punt. You know, they are going to get the punt inside the 5-yard line. So that's good. So Minnesota's going to start in deep territory. 8 minutes and 53 seconds left. If I'm Minnesota, I got to be careful now playing deep in my own territory here. That's the one thing that you've got to really be worried about here. If Detroit can play some field position, maybe they get the ball back with inside their own 50 and they can flip the field. But we'll see. 8 minutes and 53 seconds left. Minnesota 13, Detroit 7. Who are you starting at quarterback in the keeper league? Christian XC1 review covering Las Vegas and the world again. Happy holidays to everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We've been talking some of the places that you can visit in Las Vegas on Christmas Day, and I'll go through them again. The Botanical Gardens at the Bellagio Fountains, the gigantic Christmas tree down on Fremont Street, the glittering lights at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and Chant Christmas at the Las Vegas Ballpark. Those are a couple of things. And the most generic one, again, there are Christmas trees everywhere at all the Las Vegas resorts. Lots of great decorations. Come and see them. They are absolutely fabulous. Those are a couple of things you can do here in Las Vegas on Christmas Day. The fact that the Vikings are averaging 1.8 yards per play and they're winning by 6 points, why 5 turnovers by the Detroit Lions? It's as simple as that. 5 turnovers by the Detroit Lions. That's how that stuff happens. Vikings are inside their own 5-yard line. They have got to be careful here. This is where you blow the game if you're not careful. If I'm Minnesota, I'm just going to try to run the ball as much as I possibly can. Maybe get a couple first downs here. I can chuck this down under 5 minutes, but Minnesota's got to be playing 10 yards at a time right now. That is what the strategy is for the Vikings here. You got a quarterback again in his second start in the NFL. You're winning the game 13-7. You have less than 100 total yards on offense, but you're winning by 6 points. You have just got to find ways to get first downs. That is what the key is right now. It's going to be about 3rd and 6 for Minnesota after that second run. They're at their own 6-yard line. This is a big play for the Vikings. If the Vikings are not able to convert here, they they're going to give the Lions like the ball in midfield. So, yeah. incomplete pass, and the Lions will get the ball back. And that is why the Lions, even with 5 turnovers in this game, with 7 minutes and 24 seconds left, will have a chance. Okay, Detroit's getting it back. Detroit is going to be at their own 45-yard line with 7 minutes left to start here. We shall see if the Lions can get something going. We are getting down to it. There are 7 minutes left here in the Lions. Here's again the playoff picture. The Packers have to lose twice for the Lions to make it. And the Lions have to win twice for the Lions to make it. Division leaders right now are Seattle, Chicago, of course, Philadelphia, and Carolina. Those are your division leaders right now. So 7 minutes, 12 seconds left. We're not going to take a timeout here, which I love. Let's get this moving along. Detroit on a screen is going to be inside the Minnesota 40-yard line. Detroit is 40 yards away from tying this game up. 6 minutes and 55 seconds left here. Wouldn't it be incredible if Detroit ended up getting the touchdown but missed the extra point? It's going to be a huge extra point for the Lions. Detroit, you can take your time here. You don't have to do anything crazy. Another screen pass to the running back inside the 40-yard line. 6 minutes and 20 seconds to go. We're inside the 30, and that's going to be a first down for the Lions on that run. 5 minutes and 40 seconds left. We're going to have a good one to the end here, at least. Not a high-scoring game by any stretch of the imagination, but we will have a good game here where it's basically been one possession the entire game. There's an injury on the field for the Minnesota Vikings with 5 minutes and 38 seconds to go in this one. I think the storyline will be, if the Lions end up winning this game, again, is that the reason the Vikings lost by a point was because they got 5 turnovers. We're not going to have a timeout here. The player got off, number 26, Jackson, got off the field. Theo Jackson, he's okay, it looks like. They'll obviously review his medical situation, but he was able to get up on zone. So that's good. Always good seeing that. 5 minutes and 38 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter. First down and 10 for the Detroit Lions. Christianic C1 review. Las Vegas in the World NFL special. Let's see what happens. 2nd and 8. Incomplete pass. The Lions have got to be in 4-down territory, obviously. They have all 3 timeouts. Both teams actually have all 3 timeouts remaining here. Incomplete pass. 4th and 8 upcoming here. For Jared Goff and the Lions, I expect that they will not kick the field goal here. Maybe they actually are going to kick the field goal. This is interesting. Let's see. Maybe because they have 3 timeouts, the Lions are going to kick the field goal. I don't know if I'd be doing that, but we'll see. Maybe they're so confident in themselves on that front. Yep, they are going to kick the field goal. Lions are going to settle for a field goal attempt here. 48 yards. I'm kind of surprised by this, but I guess the feeling is that the way the Vikings offense is playing, why not? The kick is up, and it's going to be good. 13-10, Minnesota over Detroit now. Could you imagine, Tom, if this game goes to overtime and it ends in a tie? Could you imagine if this game ends up going to overtime and it ends up in a tie? That would be terrible. The Lions would obviously be eliminated with a tie too, by the way, because the Lions have to win both games. They cannot afford to tie here. Christian XC1 review covering Las Vegas and the world. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Boxing Day. Happy whatever you celebrate in the world day. Happy I don't have to go to work today because of this holiday day. 13-10 Minnesota over Detroit in the 4th quarter. NFL Live reaction here. Christmas Day game between Minnesota and Detroit. That's just so crazy in that regard. The Lions have 5 turnovers today and are down 3 points. It could still end up winning this football game. Both teams have 3 timeouts remaining. We're down to 4 minutes and 39 seconds. Again, Minnesota has to find a way to get some first downs. It's how Minnesota is going to win this game. They've got to find a way to get some first downs. They only have a total of about 75 yards from the offensive line today. The reason that they have 13 points, 3 turnovers from the Lions. Lions have 5. Have 5 turnovers today. And the Minnesota Vikings have gotten turnovers off of 3 of those 3 times, got points on 3 different drives. 3 times on 5 of those turnovers. So Minnesota sits here with a 13-10 lead with 4 minutes and 39 seconds left. And the question is, can they find a way to get some first downs? Minnesota's going to continue with the run game. It's not going to be very successful on first down here. It's not even a 1-yard game. It's basically about the line of scrimmage. Max Broomser today has 41 pass yards and 16 rush yards. That's the quarterback statistics for Matt Broomser of the Minnesota Vikings. And yet he's winning 13-10. If somehow they're able to win this game, if somehow they're able to win this game, he may be, I don't know, he could very well be the starter with the smallest amount of passing yards to win an NFL game. I would love somebody to look those statistics up. If they end up winning this game, Minnesota ends up winning this game. If Minnesota ends up winning this game, I have to know where this guy stands in history for the smallest amount of statistics by a quarterback of a win. I have to know. It would be fascinating to look at. So someone's going to have to educate me on that one today, if that's the case, because this has got to be the lowest of the low for quarterback stats of a potential victor on a start. Because 99.99% of all NFL games, you're not winning with these statistics at quarterback. Minnesota's going to keep it on the ground with a fake play, and this game is not going to be over yet, but the Minnesota Vikings on a fake reverse play get all the way down inside the 5-yard line. Unbelievable. And so now the Lions have got to hold them inside the 5 here. Oh, they're going to rule it a touchdown. I think he went out of bounds. Jordan Addison with the touchdown from Minnesota, but I think he went out of bounds. I guess it's over the top. His foot goes out, no, but I just don't know. Yep, it counts. I don't think we're going to get a tie, unfortunately. But Detroit's playoff season is about to be over in a couple of minutes here, which is sad for the Lions. But the Packers will end up clinching a playoff spot with even having to play this weekend. So congrats to the Packers if the Lions are not able to come back here in the last 4 minutes. So Jordan Addison with a long run. It's the longest run of the Vikings season, and he runs in for the touchdown. I thought he was out at inside the 5-yard line, but I guess not. Three minutes and 43 seconds remaining in this Christmas Day Las Vegas Netflix special. Lions fans got to be disappointed. Lions do have 2 things going for them, though. They've got 3 timeouts, and they've got the 2-minute warning. Here in Las Vegas, we're finishing up our NFL Live reaction. Let's see what Jared Goff and company are able to do here in the last 3 minutes and 43 seconds. If they can get a quick score, then maybe they can play flip field again. But yeah. Jared Goff's attempts today, 14 of 22, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions so far. Detroit's going to throw a nice dart down the field to get inside the Minnesota 40. They have to have a sense of urgency right now and run their 2-minute offense. Christianic C1 review covering Las Vegas in the world from the most exciting city in the world, Las Vegas. Sunday, we did the 12 days of Christmas. Today on Christmas Day, we talked about places you could go in Las Vegas on Christmas. And we're finishing up here the Lions and the Vikings. 3 minutes and 11 seconds left. 2nd and 10 for the Lions coming up here. We had a lot of people from across the world log in today. We appreciate all of you. Whether you're watching this in the recorded version or the live version, thank you so much. We are continuing to get unbelievable numbers on people watching the live hours, people watching it afterwards. Thank you so much for watching those. We greatly appreciate it. And the Lions just missed that one. 3rd and 10 coming up. 3 minutes and 8 seconds still left. Lions still have 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. So there's still plenty of time here mathematically for the Lions, but they got to hurry. Hiked over his head. That is just terrible. Hiked over his head, and that's just terrible. We're at now 4th down for the Lions, I believe. So the Lions have a 4th and forever. So let's see what happens here. Looks like they're going to rule out a fumble, and Minnesota has the football, so that should basically be about it. But I think they're going to challenge that one. I think that Goff has the ball. Vikings are going to get the ball back, so the Lions are going to have to start using their timeouts now. The Vikings will run the ball. Tom tells me that Mac Jones for the Patriots had 19 pass yards in a win versus the Bills back in 2021. I don't remember that. That's crazy. 2nd and 7 for the Vikings. The Vikings are going to move to 8-8 on the year if they hold on here. An impressive ending to the year by Minnesota. Green Bay will probably have nothing to play for next week. So Minnesota's got a chance to finish the season 9-8, winning the last 5. Not bad. They'll still miss the playoffs, but not a bad effort by the Vikings, which, the Vikings are middle of the road still. And, again, Vikings disappointing because they didn't get this going earlier in the year. I would think so. Second timeout used by the Lions here. If the Vikings were able to get a first down here, they can pretty much milk the clock and get this over, get out of here after one more first down. Tough year for the Lions. I think a lot of people expected more of them, and it's just not happening, unfortunately, this year. It looks like unless something miraculous happens here in the last 2 minutes and 57 seconds. 3rd and 5 coming up from Minnesota. That's pretty crazy. Back in 1974, Joe Ferguson had 0 passing yards. I can't believe that's even statistically possible. The guy didn't even throw 1 pass to OJ for 5 yards. That's crazy stuff. The Vikings will get a first down, and they'll be able to pretty much milk the clock now. Lions have only one timeout left in the 2-minute warning. Justin Jefferson goes up and probably gets the biggest catch of the game to put this game pretty much on ice. Bobbles it, but that's why they pay him the big bucks. He was able to catch the football. The Vikings do have to run a play here before the 2-minute warning. That's a stack. Probably the Lions will use their timeout now. I would have, but okay. 2-minute warning. Lions, Vikings, 2 minutes left, 20-10. Vikings trying to put the sealer on this. They get one more first down. This is pretty much over officially. Thank you so much. C1 review from Las Vegas here. Final 2 minutes, NFL live reaction. Vikings and Lions. Christmas Day, again, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, happy Boxing Day, happy whatever you celebrate. In closing, of course, we're going to go over again a couple places you could visit Las Vegas on Christmas Day. The Botanical Gardens at Bellagio have an unbelievable floral Christmas display. The gigantic Christmas tree down on Fremont Street. All the resorts have different Christmas-themed Christmas trees everywhere. Very well decorated, of course. The Las Vegas Ballpark Enchant Christmas experience goes on until December 28th. Again, go over to the main channel, watch that video. We did a great video there at the Las Vegas Ballpark. And finally, glittering lights at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This is just a couple of places you can go and see holiday festive lights and things to do on Christmas Day in Las Vegas, of course. Go see a show. There's still some shows that haven't started yet today. Go to the movie theaters. Go to a restaurant tonight. All kinds of things in Las Vegas. Have a good time and enjoy yourselves. Again, Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrates the holiday and anything else you celebrate. We appreciate you here at the C1 Review in Las Vegas. Whether you're watching this in the recorded version or the live, we really appreciate you, and we appreciate all the people who've been watching it more so in the recorded version. We continue to see an increase in that every week, and we greatly appreciate you watching these as well. We, of course, will be back this coming Sunday for the full NFL live reaction, of course, on Sunday as well. Second and 9 for the Vikings here. They're going to run the ball again, obviously. And the Lions are going to use their final timeout, I imagine, and they will. So now the Lions will have the Vikings 3rd and 9. So here's what the Lions are thinking. You hold them to a field goal here. You have about a minute left. The question is, will the Vikings kick a field goal, or will they attempt to run a play on 4th down? It'll be interesting to see what happens here. You know, block field goal, return for a touchdown, set up a crazy onside kick. All kinds of crazy things can happen in the NFL, as you know. So it'll be interesting to see what the Vikings have planned here for 4th down, if they're able to hold them here. If the Vikings are able to get a first down, that ends the game. Vikings are not going to be able to get that first down, but the Lions cannot stop the clock here. So now you've got a minute and about 8 seconds left. Will the Vikings kick a field goal? Will the Vikings kick a field goal? Will they go for the first down here? Maybe you think if you don't get it, you leave the Lions deep in their own territory without any timeouts left. Let's see what the Vikings decide to do. I'm guessing the Vikings are going to run this down and then call a timeout and then come to an assumption of what they want to do here with this 1 minute and 7 seconds remaining. One minute and 8 seconds remaining here. Okay, they are going to kick a field goal. Minnesota is going to kick a field goal here. 42-yard attempt. So the Lions will have another shot, at least to try to get a touchdown quickly and then a 2-point conversion. Kick is up and is good. 23-10, Minnesota over Detroit. 1 minute and 4 seconds left in Detroit's playoff hopes. The Lions are going to have a quick sense of urgency here down the field. Nothing but passes, obviously, here. So we'll see what happens on the kickoff return. Okay, let's see what the Lions can do here. Christian XCY Review Las Vegas, the last minute of our Christmas Day game review here. Let's see what they can do. And then we'll do a quick post-game show before we wrap up today. First down for the Lions. They got to move the ball inside the 50. They have no timeouts left. They need to hurry up. There's 50 seconds remaining in this game here. They better hurry. They got to spike or run a play quickly. 45 seconds left. Got to hurry. Incomplete pass. 38 seconds left. If you're Jared Goff, you got to start throwing the ball down the field. You have got to start throwing the ball down the field. Injury on the field for Detroit. That'll give them a couple seconds here to regroup, but you have got to start throwing the ball down the field soon. Like quickly. Quickly. Injury timeout on the field for the Lions. This is going to be a little while. St. Brown is down again. He got hurt in the Packers game on Thanksgiving Day, and he's hurt again today on Christmas. tough blow for the Lions here with 38 seconds left. If the Lions are not able to miraculously score 2 touchdowns here in the last 38 seconds, their playoff hopes are dashed, and the Green Bay Packers will clinch a playoff spot. Yeah. So I don't think Tampa Bay can clinch. I think they can only get in via division because they're 7-8. So again, yeah, that's a tough blow for the. It's a tough blow. Let me double check that. I want to just check something quickly here. Yeah, they would still have to have multiple other teams lose. The Packers would still have to lose twice for the Buccaneers to get in via the wild card round. So the Packers don't mathematically clinch a playoff spot, but the Lions are eliminated from the playoffs because they only have one game remaining after this week. Lions, first down inside the 35. You've got to hurry. Time is not your friend right now. Time is not your friend. You have got to throw one to the end zone like right this minute. You have got to go. You have got to go. 15 seconds, 14 seconds, 13 seconds. He's got to throw it to the end zone. I don't understand what the sense. Again, time is not on your side, and that's going to do it. And the Minnesota Vikings are going to upset the Detroit Lions today, 23-10. Minnesota moves to 8-8 on the year, and that is it for Detroit's playoff hopes. They are eliminated. That is it. That is it. You know? Final score, Minnesota 23, the Lions 10. What do we take away from today's game? Well, we'll take a couple of things away here in the post show. Detroit, again, loses their opportunity. Green Bay moves all that closer. That's basically what we're looking at right now. If Green Bay is able to win on Saturday, they're in. So on the wild card front, and then Tampa Bay would only have a chance to get in, I guess, through the AFC South. That's it. So you're basically looking at, again, the playoff field is pretty much set. It's just a matter of how it's going to be ordered now. So, yeah, that's basically it. It's Tampa Bay and Green Bay. There we go. Could be Carolina, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, or, Carolina, Tampa, and Green Bay are your undecideds. And 2 of the 3 are going to get in on those last spots. To me, a disappointing scenario and situation day for the Lions. The Lions could have had a better season, but again, the NFC is just so stacked. You go from being in the playoffs, to unfortunately out of the playoffs, just like that with a couple of losses because everyone's just beating up on each other in the NFC. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Final scores today: Dallas 30, Washington 23, Minnesota 23, Detroit 10. Minnesota is now 8-8 on the year. Minnesota missed some opportunities this year. Absolutely missed some opportunities. They could have had, so much more this year. They're going to be 8-8, and they'll be competitive next week against Green Bay. They'll be absolutely competitive against Green Bay next week. That's for sure. I don't know what Detroit was doing there on that last drive. Really don't, but Lions, again, will play next week, So there you go. That's basically what it is right now. So let's just take a look at something, though. The wild card is very unlikely. They would need to win out and have multiple other teams like the Packers, Vikings, or other teams in the 6, 7 spots lose out, which is a long shot. I think let me just take a look at something quickly. Maybe I'm completely wrong about this, but I'll just take a look anyway. I think I am wrong, but let's just check that before we go here. And Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year's, season's greetings, all that good stuff. Yeah, Green Bay clinched the playoff spot. Okay, so I'm 100% wrong on that regard. So correct, Tom is right. So Tampa Bay can only get in by winning the South. So it's basically just down to who's going to be in representing the NFC South. That's it. That's what we're down to. I apologize on my math there. So congratulations to Minnesota. They're going to end up winning today, 8-8 on the year. Not going to make the playoffs, though. But again, teams where you could have said what could have been this year: Minnesota, Miami, Cincinnati, Dallas. I mean, those are the teams I think about of what could have been. And tomorrow and on Sunday, don't be surprised if Cincinnati scores 50 points. And I'll leave you with that. This is Christianic for C1 Review in Las Vegas. Again, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Season's greetings, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, Happy Boxing Day, Happy Celebrate Whatever You Celebrate Day. Thank you so much for joining us today and spending some time with us during your holiday day in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. We'll be back Sunday for our usual shows, our usual live reaction show, 10 a.m. Las Vegas time. And of course, also we're going to be doing the review show on Sunday night. I'm Christianic for C1 Review. Merry Christmas, Tom. Merry Christmas, everybody else. And I will see you again on Sunday. And maybe Saturday too. We shall see.